I just do me, but they say I'm too much. Chosen one, I don't ever get too far. Woo. And my mama said I'm special. If I don't trust you, shoot your metro. Future looking bright, nigga got that glow. Professor X, nigga, all the gifts I show. My life like a movie shot off the hit show. Me and Bless Hands make a bitch get low. James Willis, DJ CEO. Dave hit record, now we on beast mode. Let's go.
Welcome back to the Hit Show podcast. Appreciate everybody watching tonight. Oh man, we got a show tonight. We got the trick or treat. But it ain't Halloween I'm talking about. Not tonight. It's some other stuff going on, man. Y'all know the viral video going around right now with the trans lady pretty much going ahead and saying, hey, you know, I'm about to make a confession. You know, I ain't gonna ruin it. I'm just gonna go ahead and play the video, and then we're gonna talk about it after that.
I lived with my boyfriend and his parents for 3 months, and none of them knew that I was transgender. I'm going to tell you how she found out. So basically, here's a little background on me. I started transitioning when I was a teenager, and, you know, I went through the whole what's annoying. I met my boyfriend here in New York, and, you know, he was staying in Buffalo, but he relocated to New York, homeless. I met him outside. We eventually ended up getting together, and he told me that he was going to move back in with his parents and he would love for me to come with. So I went, and I didn't tell him, yo, I'm trans. He introduced me to his mom. He introduced me to his dad. I met a few of his siblings. And, you know, I was even laying in the bed. There are times that I was showering and my mom would come in and nobody had a clue. So one day I asked to use someone's phone, and my phone was not working. So I logged into my Instagram. I have 2 Instagram accounts. I have one for people that I know and another for people that don't. So I ended up forgetting to log out. And his mom went to use her phone after me. And the next day, when I woke up, I just found her acting really funny. She was acting really strange. She loved me, but then she started acting very standoffish, almost like you betrayed me. Like you could see the look in her eye. So, you know, I finally decide that I've had enough with attention, and I want to ask her, what's really good? Like, what's happening? What's going on? What's beef? So she's like, you logged into my phone last night. Do you know what you left on there? I said, no, nothing. I should have logged out. And she said, I went to your page and I watched your videos. I said, what videos? She says, of your transition. You didn't tell us. So then she's like, you were around my kids. You were around my grandkids. You were around my nieces and nephews. Why didn't you tell me this? I said, ma'am, listen, you make it seem like I'm a threat to the public safety or something. I'm a regular girl, but I knew if I would have said something that I would be labeled otherwise and I would be dehumanized and treated funny. That's why I didn't say nothing. She said, well, you got to get up and help clean up. You know what? If you're going to be living here, you got to help clean up. She started getting real, like, you know, snappy. So I'm like, I'm just going to pack my things and go because I know that's the next thing you're going to say. She's like, yeah. Does my son know? I said, no. She said, you know what? We're going to keep between us, but you got to go. I said,
What's going on?
What up?
Man, so I know you probably seen that video. This is Jonathan Lefford, y'all. He's been podcasting with us. That viral video, man, is crazy because the woman went online, right? She went into her account and seen the transition. They had a conversation, and the lady said, hey, I'm not even going to tell my son about it. But even if you don't, it's online. So now the son will be like, Mom, you wouldn't tell me?
Right.
Don't you think that's a little crazy?
Go ahead. I'm gonna just say I think in the day and age that we live in, I think that she may not have known, or she could have. It's a lot of these moms, and you just got to think about it, man. You just got to think about like how men nowadays don't carry themselves as men anymore. Like it's so many feminine men out here, and there's so many mothers that know that their male child could be very feminine or could be possibly gay. And so as a mom, I think a lot of these moms would rather their child be happy than to kill their happiness. Or you know that your child is a flip out artist. What if the mom told the child, the young man, and he killed this transgender? Because this is what happens sometimes in this world that we live in. But the other side to it is, one of the things that I have issues with in society and with the LGBT community and with women is that we're talking about naturally you are a man, regardless on what you transition to.
Right.
You are still a man, but you're identifying as a woman. And where the way she was talking was, I'm a young lady, I'm a woman. Reality, you're not.
Right.
And the acceptance of people who allow them to call them a woman instead of calling them exactly what they are, and the identification and the lie in your mind at this point, when you go tell somebody like, oh, I'm a woman, I'm a woman, I'm a woman, I'm a woman, and then there's been numerous cases of transgenders doing this and living with a man their whole like years, and the man is wondering why this woman can't get pregnant, because you never told the man that you were a transgender, and they don't know. You don't have your beans and weenies anymore, so how is he supposed to know? You know what I'm saying? So this identification process on when people go out there and say that, okay, I identify as a woman, but you're not physically really a woman, even though you did work.
Right, because you're not going to have a period. You can't get pregnant. So I mean, this United States of America, you can be whatever you want to be, but I'm going to get Darius take next.
That's what I was about to say. Like, at this point, we got to accept what is the reality of this state that we live in. Know what I'm saying? That shit is real. And like you said, you gonna see the signs if they not getting pregnant or not having periods or whatnot. Like, so with the story with old girl, with the first video we showed, I think she said she met him when he was homeless and she picked him up. Like they really knew each other for a while, it seemed like, and then they moved in with the mama. In my mind, I feel like he probably had an inkling that she was like trans, because it's seeming like all these dudes that's messing with the trans and it's coming out and getting exposed, they end up doing something again. Know what I'm saying? So it's like they on the down low, or they got to come out the closet or something. Know what I'm saying? That I want to address that issue too, because you covered a lot. So it's a lot to tackle.
It is a lot to tackle, but I feel like you know, in on one hand, nobody really cares. Like, I don't care if you're gay or if you're straight. I don't care what your identification is, but I care that you identify.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? That's what I was getting ready to say, Jonathan, because I've said it before, that
I care that you identify. I'm sorry,
I don't think there's what they should do. This is what they should do. If you are a trans, because this is the thing. If a trans person does something and tricks somebody and you do something to them, it's a hate crime. But they're not being held accountable for pretty much taking like men's manhood. So I think if they change their sex on their identification, on their driver's license or state ID, it should say trans, because you're literally taking somebody's manhood or womanhood, tricking them, and you could mess up somebody mentally for the rest of life. And I don't think that's fair.
But
that's
I think
rape, you know.
I totally agree with that. But I also feel like as men.
Okay, he went. Go ahead, Antoinette. Let me get your take, and we'll get Jonathan back.
Keep calling me.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, let me get Antoinette, then we'll go back to you, Jonathan. Go ahead.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you real good.
So about the trans not telling her boyfriend that she was trans.
That boy got tricked real good. Damn. But it's got to be.
I mean, but my thing is, to me, that's just still not knowing the person that you with.
Yeah.
Ooh. Like, how you not going, if you're not, has that person ever been with a woman before?
You know, that's what I'm saying, because it's got to be some.
When you read between the lines, it seemed like boy probably wasn't even like sexually intimate with.
He couldn't have been. He couldn't have been.
Or he was on the down low and he just ain't told his mom, because she said like when she got exposed by his mom, she just packed and dipped. She didn't even go talk to the boy. So I don't know.
And she didn't give him closure in the situation.
Nope.
No.
She just
damn, that's fucked up.
You didn't even tell her, so that's jacked
like
up.
he must have known though. Like, and the cat was out the bag. So why would she have to go?
No, he didn't
say something to the boy.
I'm kind of up in the air.
In her mind, and like she probably was like, "Shit, I ain't gotta say nothing to him. He already know what's up," and she just bounced.
I don't.
No, that's fucked up.
I don't know. I'm kind of up in the air about it because, like, on some real shit. Like the last time when I went to Atlanta, my cousin lived next door to this chick. It's one chick that's like a real chick, and it's another chick that's a transgender. And even as a man, I did not know that the transgender was a transgender. The transgender spent $100,000 getting her body, her face, all that done, got her PP clipped off and stuff like that. Some of these chicks, they do all this body sculpting and all this work to do it. You know what I'm saying? And they look like a female, and they act like a female, and they talk like a female. But then you got these ones, like, it's ones that we can look at and tell, like, that's just a nigga with a wig on. You know what I'm saying? Or the way they act, they carry themselves like like they're in the transgender. They do all that hand and all that other stuff. Like, okay, you're a transgender, but it's some of them that mask themselves really well. That's why I say, like, in this day and age, like, I can't really say how this man really identified. The only thing I could say as a straight male, there are things that there are questions that I ask. Like, if a female's like my age and she doesn't have any kids, I'm wanting to know why you don't have kids, because there are real life situations that some women have to where they can't have kids. You know what I'm saying? There's some women that don't have periods because they're taking something or their periods are irregular. But you've been with this person for this amount of time. There had to be some key indicating things that you would have seen from this transgender that you wouldn't have seen from a female. And in this day and age, like, we accept so many things in this day and age, and you don't know how somebody grows with somebody else. Like, we don't know their relationship. We don't know how they bonded. And in some situations, people just go ahead and accept what they have. I feel like everybody in the situation is wrong. The mom is wrong. The transgender is wrong. The dude is wrong. I think the dude is wrong because, like, dude, if you're gay, you're gay. Who the fuck cares?
Right. But
you know what I'm saying?
Like you said, some of the women you can't tell, but a lot of them you can. If you don't have a shitload of money to do a full transformation, I'll be watching the videos and listen to them talk. Their voice even sound funny. Like you can look at their hands, like. But I think what it is, like you said, some men just are on the down low. They are. That's fine. But the problem is, if you know you're not really a woman and you're doing all this covering up stuff, and you're out here messing with men and women and all this other stuff, that should be no different than you drugging somebody, putting something in somebody's drink, or raping somebody.
But see,
somebody.
The reason why it can't be considered rape is because of the identification. Because anytime there's a law where you can legally identify as whatever you want to identify as, it becomes a legal binding law. So you can't say rape. It was considered rape like years ago when transgenders were out there and they were, posing as women, and they get a man in there, and then all of a sudden, like the PP comes out and they're like, oh, this ain't what I signed up for. That could be considered rape. But now that they're allowing them to identify and they're putting it on their license, by law, they have transitioned into being a woman as long as they meet those indicators to where the government can put it on their ID. But it's also your job as the man to walk like a duck, talk like a duck. It's a fucking duck. Like if I think that you're a man, if you got male qualities, you're a man to me. That's just how I look at it.
Yeah.
But it's so the world has become so sexual at this point. Like for what I'm saying, you being a man, you want to be a woman, a man want to be a man want to be a woman want to be a man. The shit, people can identify as a chicken if they want to at this point.
Right.
It's become so sexual that if a man got a fat ass, another man might want to try and bang the man in the fat ass because he got a fat ass and he got a dress on. They they literally just don't care. My thing is like, if you don't care, say that. Don't don't hide it, because nobody cares at this point. Nobody cares if you're gay. Nobody cares if you're straight. Nobody cares if you're trans. Nobody cares. Just say what you are.
Exactly. And it's the thing. The ones that do, I had a coworker I used to work with. I'll never forget this. Good friend of mine when I lived in Kentucky. We worked in the kitchen, and he came to me one day. He said, James, I went over this girl house. I was about to go to this girl house, and halfway there, she called me and was like, I'm really a man. But she actually called him and told him, hey, this is who I am. And he was like, no, I don't mess with that. But she respectively said, this is who I am. And I can respect that. You should give somebody the choice if they want to still mess with you. But when you're out here tricking people, it should be a crime. Because if I do something to you because you took my manhood, then I'm in trouble and you're not. So hold on, let me pull up these pictures real quick. We got some stuff going on out here. Let me get into my folder. Make sure everybody see this?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this is the first one. I don't know if y'all remember this. This happened. We don't know how true it is, but
I believe it.
Trans woman claims she slept with singer Ray J and claims he did not know she was trans.
I believe he did, because Ray J is a little feminine. I believe he did.
You believe he did?
I believe he did. Ray J has a lot of feminine tendencies. Like when I look at him, Ray J just gonna go, man. It's one thing. It's one thing to talk that hood shit, but it's another thing to be a nigga from the hood. Like, You're not a nigga from the hood, nigga. We all know you as Brandy's little brother.
Right.
We don't know you as nothing else, nigga. And you do have those feminine tendencies, but I think with the thing with when you get to that level of success, you get a different type of entree. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they get different kind of medical, they get different kind of water, they get different kind of shit than what you get in the regular world. So when it comes to sexuality, he getting a different type of transgender. He might not have known, but then again, he might have, because he's a feminine man.
What you think, Antoinette, about Ray J and that transgender woman? Did you think he knew? Jonathan said he knew. I'll be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you, Jonathan. Ray J done been with a lot of women. I think he know the difference. That's all I'm gonna say.
I think he been with boys and girls. I think he's bisexual.
Okay, let me get into that state.
Yeah, I think Ray J. I think he a little suspect. I think he did. I think he knew.
What you think, Darius? Your
I
mic's
think he knew.
I think he like had a couple clues along the line. Just he ain't stop. It's like they know, like deep down they know, but you just don't want to come all the way out there and be your true self. You know what I'm saying? And you made a good point, Antoinette, about the not knowing somebody. Like that goes as far as, because James using the word trick. So that goes as far as anybody tricking anybody in a relationship. So if somebody is abusive and they ain't telling somebody, that's fucked up too. We ain't just saying it's fucked up if you ain't telling somebody about your sexuality. You know what I'm saying? If you hiding anything from somebody in a relationship, it's fucked up. Accountability.
But a lot of people is hiding and catfishing. That's why I don't do a lot of online dating and stuff like that. Because I feel if I can't video you and have a conversation and get to know you, I'm not going to be hiding behind a text or something. I want to be able to get to know somebody. And it's a lot of people that's tricking people out here. Men and women. You know, it's a lot of people stealing people's profiles. It's a lot of that going on in this world.
And it's so easy now with this digital shit. You could just steal somebody pictures, and they got voice changing technology and all this crazy shit now. So it's wild out here. Radio is just cool.
He said he trisexual. Hey, you know what, James? I wanted to say something too, like to just touch on what you said. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you've been with a lot of women, you would know the difference. Like, you know, do you know, like this is a crazy shit though. Oh shit, my bad. This is crazy shit. So you know, like a man's body, it doesn't matter what you do to a man's body. Do you know the one part that never changes?
What's that?
What?
Oh, the back? Yeah.
The back is the one part of your anatomy that you can't change. So, you know what I'm saying? Women are so much more feminine than a man can be. Like you can't change how a man looks. And if even if you Ray J and you've been with all these dime ass chicks, how did you get tricked by this transgender, my nigga?
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Because
in LA.
You must have the greatest surgeon of all time.
Yeah, they got money out there.
They got money out there, but there's things they can't. You know, when they have them vaginas implanted, you know they can't get wet.
That's
so
what
you
I
mean
was
to tell
thinking.
me? You mean to tell me every time you have sex, you gotta put on KY? Because if a chick is gonna if a chick gets aroused, she's gonna get moist down there. You mean to tell me every time that you have sex with this chick, you gotta put on KY jelly? Come on, bro. That's a sign right there, bro. You know.
Man, that's what I was thinking. Like they gotta put something in there, and even if they do, it's gonna dry up because it's not natural.
Right. And so, like, that's why I say. Plus the fact, like, that's not the first time Ray J has been in the spotlight for the transgender, the gay shit. He's a feminine man. Like he talked that hood shit. He talked that boss shit. But there's gay people that talk that hood shit and that boss shit too. Ray J is just a feminine. He's a feminine man. He acts to me like a scared male that has some money, that has a place in society, and he's in a higher class society. But he's not somebody that I would ever feel like, nigga, you a threat. Nigga, I would feel like, nigga, you do some other shit, but I just would never think that.
Right.
I always thought that he was not transsexual, but he dibbled and dabbled with men and women. And that there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's just it depends on how he addresses it too. Like, how did he address it? Did he say it was true? Did he deny it? Did he fight it? Did he get mad?
I've been following it because I posted this a while ago on my TikTok. He hasn't really came out and said too much. I haven't heard him say nothing, but this is the thing. You know, the first time I heard of something like this was, I'm gonna bring this other one up. Give me 1 second. My bad, hit the wrong button.
So while you bringing that up, I just want to say this: you do know that Ray J's personality, like you know him, he slapped Fab, right?
Oh yeah.
You know he slapped Fabulous. There was a big thing, like he had slapped Fabulous over something just minor because they had a little argument, a little disagreement. So if he's not addressing it or getting mad about it or wanting to fight about it because that's what he does, it's probably true. Because he's very vocal.
Here's the other one. Now this one was totally different. Sydney Starr went on Vlad and said she actually lied about having relations with Chingy. And a lot of people say that's what messed up Chingy's career when she lied about it. And this is my thing, right? There has to be some type of trans organization to where it seems like they're exposing these men. I was watching another podcast on No Jumper, and there's one on there that was talking about like your favorite rappers is literally inboxing me for sex. And I'm like, that was different because she's not out here trying to trick people. She identifies this is who I am. Now that's fine. But there has to be like a plot for the ones that are out here trying to trick people and not tell them. You know what I'm saying? Remember the Young Buck situation.
It's just like playing dumb. Like, you know what you're getting yourself into.
Right.
So it's like you have a way out if you try to play ignorant, if you get exposed, like, well, she was a trans. I thought she was a trans. She tricked me. No, he tricked me. Like, nigga, you know what you was getting yourself into and you know what you was doing. So
that's why I say like as a man, if you've been with women before, man, you know how a woman touches. You know what I'm saying? It's just different, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Every time I see some weird shit with like a trans, like with a man laying in the bed with a trans, because we see the weird shit all the time. It pops up on the social network. You look at their back and it always look like a strong ass nigga's back. Like, how the fuck do you got no? Ain't no women got that type of back. You know what I'm saying? It just be weird. Like they shoulders be weird. It don't matter what they do. Like they can't be a woman, and that's why I say like I'm a people watcher. So when I look at when I'm out and I'm like looking at chicks and I'm like, damn, which one I'ma holler at? I'm interviewing what they look like. Like I'm like at their walk, like you know what I'm saying, how they walk, how they carry themselves, like how you know what I'm saying, how your neck is, like you walking around, like all that stuff determines whether I'm going to talk to that woman. And if I think for one hot second, if it's one thing that is wrong that I think is masculine to me, you're a man. I don't give a fuck if you had kids.
Well, let me get Antoinette. Let me ask you something, Antoinette. If we put 3 transgenders that used to be men and they changed into women, you being a natural woman and being around a lot of women, you would know the difference in the heartbeat. You would know that that's not a real woman.
Yeah, I would know the difference because I have transgender friends. So, I mean, I believe I would know the difference. I can pick up when somebody is, I feel like they're gay.
Yeah.
I mean, I can pick it up. And when I think, it always ends up to be true. So, I mean, I think I would be able to pick it up, but I don't know. Cause some of these, I don't know. It's just all about knowing the person, I believe. If you know the person that you with, then you know. I mean, you have a gut feeling, then go with your gut feeling. I mean, you can't tell me that you was around your girl, she never had a period. I mean, unless they having periods now, I don't know. I mean,
that's another thing.
Like, you can't tell me like you never really looked at your woman, y'all never really looked at each other. I mean, that's just telling me that you really ain't get to know the person you was with, because how you ain't look at them and know what a woman is. That's why I asked, was the young man with women or was this his first woman?
That's what where there's smoke, there's fire. It's like, you know, like they
Yeah,
know.
because how you don't know?
Like even with men and women, men's breath smell different than women. I talk to a lot of that. I mean, just body posture, burping, something manly's gonna come out. It just no period, so they faking periods.
Well, like my ex that I was with, she didn't have a period because she had a hysterectomy.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I
Yeah,
say
but
like I ask questions when like my ex never had kids, but she had like it was like cervical cancer or something down there to where she had to have a hysterectomy, which is why she never had kids.
okay.
So asking questions like that, but it also comes down to like when you look at the surgeries that it don't look like a pussy to me. Like I would have some serious questions like why the fuck does that look like that? Like you know what I'm saying? Because if
I've
you a
never
man,
seen one. I wasn't trying to find no images.
I actually did. I actually did because as a man, like I was curious. Like I was like, how are you taking the dick and making it a pussy? Like I need to know what this shit looks like. Does it look like a real vagina, or does this shit look like it's a jigsaw puzzle? Like what does it look like? I mean, they have videos and stuff like that on YouTube for you to see. But the ones that I saw, I'm looking at it like, okay, that doesn't look like a pussy. I mean, it looks like a pussy, but it doesn't look like a pussy. Like I'm just not. I look at the pussy before I do anything with the pussy because I need to make sure you ain't got no bumps, no scars, no. I need to know what the fuck is down there. Like shit, you know what I'm saying? Like I need to know. You know what I'm saying? If you're a man, like every man done ate some pussy before. Like how are you coming? Like you know what I'm saying? Like it's so many variables in it.
Exactly.
I do actually agree with I'm gonna say I never agreed with them allowing people to change their sexuality. You regardless on if you cut your stuff off, he's stupid.
Who is this? Not to cut you off. Who is Tim?
that's Tim.
That's your buddy Tim. I'm
Yeah,
trying to do a
he's
podcast.
cool.
You got to stop with the comments. I can't stop laughing. Bring you on one of the show, but thanks for the comments. Go ahead, Jonathan. I appreciate you, Tim. I'm just messing. With you.
I never agreed with them allowing people to change or identify as something that they are not birthly given, because no matter what you do, I don't care if a woman, if they draw a penis on a woman, you're not going to be able to experience it like a man. You can't produce, you have no reproductive organs that are going to allow you to reproduce like a man or a woman. So you acting, you're still an actor trying to portray a part. And I don't agree with people being able to do that. Just because you dress like a woman, you get titties like a woman, doesn't make you a woman, because you can never have a child. You're never going to go through those things as a woman. And
Exactly.
for this long period of time, you're still going to have to try and figure out how to act like a woman, which is why they hang around women so much, so they can figure out how to portray them. And that's why studs hang around men, so they can try and figure out like what kind of man they want to be. You still don't know. So either way it goes, it's wrong. And it doesn't matter what you want to do. It doesn't matter who you want to have sex with. That doesn't have anything to do with it. But the way you identify yourself, the way of the natural order of things, and you allowing people to just say, okay, well, I now identify as a woman, I think that's wrong.
And this is the one that killed me right here.
Oh God, not this dude.
This is the most disrespectful thing I've probably heard.
Mm-hmm.
They always talk about men, we don't know how to treat women and all this. This was the most disrespectful thing to natural women on this earth. To give this man Woman of the Year.
It was a lot of women that were mad at that.
Totally disrespectful.
Oh, crazy.
It was They talked about that on the Breakfast Club. Like, it was a lot of women that were mad at that. Like, and the flip side about it, the other thing that had pissed me off, because like last year he decided he sat up there and said, I don't want to be a woman anymore. I want to go back to being a man. So how do you give this dude Woman of the Year when you're still confused about your sexuality? You still don't know what you want to be. And
You
that's the thing.
I'm gonna say this, and I know I'm gonna get banned and shadow banned for this, but I don't give a damn. We already shadow banned, and fuck them, they can't do nothing else. So for all y'all gonna fuck, they gonna take the shit down anyway. I don't give a fuck. If you cutting off body parts, getting surgeries to trick people, and you don't know what you want to be, you have some type of mental health issue going on. Period. That's exactly what it is. Exactly what it is.
I 100% agree.
You want
with
to touch
it.
your dick off, something wrong with you. I'm just saying. You should at least go talk to somebody.
I don't know.
You don't
Because
know.
some people are born like literally with both parts. So
True.
I'm not talking about that.
yeah, you can say it's a mental illness, but it's not always a mental illness, James.
Well, the way that you worded it, you said if their intention was to trick people, then there must be a mental health issue. But that's not what most people's intentions are. They feel that they really are comfortable or are this thing. I'm not transgender, so I can't really speak for how they feel, honestly. But I don't think their intention. Her intention though.
I think they got. If you got bad intentions to cut your parts off, change them, and to trick somebody, something's wrong with you.
So
Well,
I
I
just
don't
want
think
to.
a lot of them are tricking people. I think they're just not really telling them.
That's
I mean,
true.
That's tricking.
yeah. I mean, it is, but
Thank
I
you, Kim.
mean,
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it is a symptom of mental illness.
But a lot of them are telling people. A lot of them are telling people, and there's a
That's
whole
why it's
bunch
big.
of men on the down low who are out
And
here.
that a good point, because
dealing with them.
that was my angle, was because I don't necessarily think it's a lot of them kind of hiding it and being nefarious with it as many as the men that just are on the down low and accepting of it and not asking no questions and need to come out too. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole lot of sneaky shit going on both sides.
So
yeah.
I kind of want to share a situation, and just since we all on this topic, because this is exactly how I feel about it. So I do understand that people are born with both genders, but it is the parent who tells the doctor what to decide to cut off or not. Now, this is the problem. So everybody's seen The Longest Yard, right? The movie The Longest Yard with Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do y'all remember? Do y'all remember in the movie where they took the guard, they took his testosterone pills, and they gave him the estrogen pills, and he started lactating, and he started becoming more feminine. So my point is like, for a man to transition into being a woman, he takes estrogen pills to make himself more feminine. For a woman, when she wants to transition into a man, she takes testosterone pills to be more masculine. The problem is there's really no gay or straight. It's an imbalance in you being a man or a woman. It's a testosterone or it's an estrogen imbalance. And the problem is the government, they just go ahead and let people do what they want to do instead of, okay, you're a woman, you don't have enough estrogen in your system. And it's well documented that when men start losing energy or you start losing hair and stuff like that, it's because your testosterone is low and you need to boost your testosterone up. That's why a lot of bodybuilders use steroids, because it's building that extra testosterone that they don't have. And since they don't have it, it also produces the way their body forms too. This is nothing new. We just are at a point to where we're so pro-choice on, you want to be this, you want to be that. No, motherfucker, you just need some. You're feminine. Take some testosterone, and I guarantee you start acting more masculine. It's proven. But we just allow people to keep going out here and doing it, and we sit up here and want to feel sorry for them. Like, oh, I feel so sorry for them. They're, because they don't know. You know what the fuck you want to be. You're fucking nasty. That's just what it is. There's no way, as a man, as a straight man. I'm 44. I've been a straight man for 44 years. There is no way where I'm going to wake up in the morning and be like, you know what? I think I want a dick in my ass. There's no way. How do you wake up and feel like that? No way.
But that's literally the point. if you are a straight man and you have been a straight man for 44 years, these other people were born this way. You can't even understand the way that they think. Literally, you could say that, like, I can't understand it. I would never do that. You would never, but somebody else would who lives that life, and you are not walking that path. So
They don't
start
have
talking
the
to them.
testosterone or estrogen. They don't have the testosterone or the estrogen in their system. That's why they act like that. And as a parent, you should recognize how your child is acting and get them the help that they need. That's why they act like that. We prove
Well,
it all
the men of
time.
today don't have the testosterone of the men of before. So what you mean? Like y'all testosterone is running out. Your sperm count is running out. You guys literally have the lowest testosterone rate ever recorded in history currently. The men on this.
Yeah, but you know why? Not
So
all of
I
them,
think
not all of them,
maybe
man.
men should worry about their own testosterone level instead of all.
For a grown ass man, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dan.
I don't believe that. I'll tell you which ones. The one that got them low testosterone level, them always be the little boy that's raised by their mama and ain't got no man around. Now the ones that got both parents, you see the difference in those men. It's a big difference.
I think the ones.
Nigga, I ain't had both parents, and I got more testosterone.
You had your uncle and your granddaddy. You want to hear that shit?
I think the ones that are losing testosterone are the ones that were in prison, and because they put that Peter softening shit in there, and they lower your testosterone like that. It's a lot of foods and stuff like that that men are supposed to eat that produces natural testosterone that we don't eat. You know what I'm saying? Because maybe we don't like it or something like that. And in that case, you need to go out there and get you some testosterone. But this is the problem. And this is my point that I'm trying to prove. You're saying as a man, these men have lower testosterone levels and they need to check that. Okay, so if I know that my testosterone level is going down as a man, as a grown, sane man, and I know that my testosterone level is going down, that's my job to go out there and fix it. Now, and you as a grown man recognize this shit and you don't go out there and do it, and then you wind up with a dick in your booty, like you were just a nasty motherfucker and you chose to do that because you were a grown man and that was your choice. We are literally at the point to where we just accept everything, like, oh my God, he's gay and he was always like that. No, his mom didn't get him the proper help that he needed in the beginning. Your son out here, you can't tell me that you didn't recognize the problem that your son out here walking around. He's 4 and 5 years old. He walking around in fucking heels. You want your child to play football, but he walking around in heels being a fucking ballerina and shit, act like a girl twerking and popping and shit like that. You mean to tell me that you ain't recognize your child had a problem? No. You just accepted it. That's the problem with the world right now. Everybody's so pro body and nah, man. No.
Hey, I said the same thing about Dwayne Wade. I said, listen, if his son want to be a girl, let him do it when he's 18 and on his own. But I don't think a child should be able to make that type of decision. That should be a grown folks decision. That's all. You know what I'm saying?
I agree, but like I said, you talking about a higher echelon. You talking about normal people would think like that, but when you get money and you are in a public eye, you get a different kind of scrutiny. You got a different kind of audience. You got a different kind of people that are looking at you, and you got a different kind of people that you are dealing with. And when you start tapping into like what is common sense and what is money sense, it becomes different.
Okay. Got you. Antoinette, let me get your take on all this.
About kids being able to change
because
their sexuality.
This all ties in because
So I feel like kids. I mean, I'm with it. I mean, I feel like, why would you want your kid to be miserable just because they're young? Why would you want them to? Why would you say wait till they're 18 to make that decision? They're gonna turn around and make the decision at 18 when they could have been happy.
Because that's not a.
But let me tell you, some people like I'm gonna tell you for like the way. I mean, what's their name? What's his name?
Dwayne Wade and Ziona. or whatever his name is.
Yeah, just for instance, like him.
That's not her
This so for him, he said he knew his son was gay when his son was little.
name. Yeah.
When his son was a baby, he knew that his son had gay tendencies, right? So why would I want my son to be walking around miserable and I have the money to make him be happy in his own skin? Why would I want my son to walk around like that?
This
If I had the money and my son, and I knew that my child was gay at a young age, I'm not saying like 9 or 10, but I think his son was kind of knew what he wanted at the age that he, was able to do everything that he wanted to do. Why would I not let my child be free? Why would I let my child be miserable?
because for
And
one,
I have the money to do it because he's not 18.
no, what for one, yes, and two, there's nothing wrong with the little boy saying I like men. If that's what he wanted to do, fine. This is the issue. You don't change your gender as a child. That is not a child's decision. That is an adult decision.
But like again, this is somebody who has money and has the money to do it.
It's plenty of little
It's
boys.
different for us who don't have the money. If I had the money to make my child happy, why would I not? I already discovered that my child was this way when he was young.
Still a child. Like
It's not gonna change when he turned 18. Now he 18 and gonna still do the same thing and will be miserable. Why would I want my child to be miserable and not be open?
because children don't make grown adult decisions. That's why.
It's not a rational decision either as a child. You don't know what
Your
you
brain
really
not
want
fully
as a
developed.
child. Right. And this is the thing, like as men, and I'm just saying as the men, we can all agree that Dwayne Wade is a feminine man anyway.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. I've said that.
You know what I'm saying? He's
Exactly.
your child developed and was
Exactly.
able to come out with what you wanted to be as a child.
Exactly.
You wanted to be a woman because he's a very, 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 very feminine man. So we can agree with that. So on the flip side, you have not experienced life enough to be able to determine whether you want a man or a woman. You haven't had sex with a woman. You haven't experienced the femininity of a woman. You don't know. You don't. And as a man, that if I have money like that, I would have my very first step would have been like, let's check his testosterone balances. Let's figure that out. Because as a man, if my child has some issues like that, I want to check into your femininity. And I also want to check myself as the father to see if I'm putting you in some places to where you are developing some things, because I know some very feminine men and they're feminine because they were around women all their life. So they have some feminine tendencies. That's my job as the man, to pull you around that and make you give you what you need to be functional as a man. Now, when you become an adult and you decide that, hey, this is what I want to do, then that's your conscious decision as an adult. But we as human beings have to get out of this state to where we're just so accepting of people making a choice. Like if your child wanted to eat some garbage, you wouldn't let your child eat some garbage. You know what I'm saying? Just because somebody threw away a cake and put it in a trash can doesn't mean that cake is healthy for you to eat. That's not what you do. So you make the decision to your child to explain to the child that, hey, you don't eat stuff out of the trash can. We got food in the refrigerator that's fresh and ready for you to eat. This is how you mold a child. You don't mold a child by putting them in a state to where now you are being victimized because of your sexuality, because kids are cruel. You know how it is when you was a kid, when you walk in school and you wearing the wrong shit and motherfuckers is cracking on you. Now you got your child out here dressing like a woman, and now you got other kids. That's not fair to the child.
And I'll be honest with you, with the whole Dwayne Wade situation, he got upset when people were commenting it and saying how they feel. Now, this is what you have to understand. We're on a public social media platform, right?
Right.
If we doing this podcast tonight, and this happened plenty of times at this podcast, people inbox me, ooh, that's a touchy subject. You shouldn't say this or that. I know what I'm doing putting this on there, knowing people are not going to agree with everything we say on here, right? But I can't get upset when somebody says, I don't like that, because I'm putting it on a public platform. So I expect backlash for it. And since Dwayne Wade is rich, he already in the limelight. You let a child do this, not behind closed doors, and you celebrate it online and then get mad when somebody say that shit ain't right, especially in the black community. We already losing our little boys to the prison system, to the graveyard, to the streets, and now you just let them turn little girls. And you know what I'm saying? And this is a child, and now the child's getting bullied online because he wants to do this at a child age, that he wasn't ready to do that as a child, and that is a grown adult decision. And you put it on a public platform. So Dwayne Wade set himself up for all that.
And touching on that same thing, the other big thing is this. We have literally gotten to a society where we cannot say anything. Our natural right of having an opinion, having a voice, being able to say how you feel and what you feel is literally being taken away from us by what society deems as what's right and what's wrong. We have gotten to this point to where we are so sensitive and, oh, I don't like this. This shouldn't be said. Yes, it should be said. We don't have these real life conversations anymore. We don't have these conversations anymore. We can see this with Kanye. What Kanye said, nothing Kanye said was wrong.
Exactly.
The reason it was wrong was because he said it on a platform where people were going to disagree. And if people would have watched the whole podcast when they had the Jewish dude on there and they were asking him, why do you have these people? Why do you sign these people to these labels? And he couldn't answer the question. And they took that all the way off and they just focused in on Kanye because Kanye was a black man. He had money and people wanted to find a way to make this man look like he was bad. At the same time, we could take Dwayne Wade. There are numerous pictures. If you go online, there's numerous pictures of Dwayne Wade showing how feminine he actually is. The pictures with him and his son, daughter, the pictures with him by himself, the pictures with him with what you call it? He's got a picture on there where he's wearing a suit jacket and a dress. But nobody's addressing that and saying that the reason why your son acts like a girl is because he's living the life that you wanted to live and you couldn't live it. So now you're living it through your son. And that can be, we can look at that both ways, but people don't want to have these real life conversations. Everybody wants to go on there and say, oh my God, we should just let people be people, but we're not letting people be people because we're not fixing the problems that we have in society.
Let me get Darius' take on this as far as letting the children make this choice under 18.
I don't think it's fair to the child because their brain's not fully developed. They ain't got enough life experiences to be making life-changing decision like that, because that's going to affect you for the rest of your life moving forward. You can't attach nothing back. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gone. And like, I don't know if you said it earlier, maybe when they turn older and then they start having more experience, they might want to change their mind, and they already done went through procedure, got all the hormones, whatever. And
like Jonathan said, exactly like he said earlier, like Bruce Jenner wanted to be a man. Now you want to go back to being a man, and how you get this dude a war, and then now he want to be a man. It's so disrespectful. But go ahead, Darius. I think it's disrespectful.
And they are born with the choice of keeping it or whatever the surgery is. Like, that's a sketchy situation because you don't know how society is going to treat your child. So I also understand why a parent will want to just make that executive decision. Know what I'm saying? So you just take control from the jump as far as the being born with multiple parts, whether you can be male or female, because that's the thing. But as far as transitioning thing, when they're like discovering themselves and they might want to be gay or they might want to be straight and they're figuring themselves out around their teens or whatever the case may be, I don't agree with the adult having the control to let that child do that transition.
The other thing with when they because I had did my research on it because I had podcasted on it before. about, if a child is born with both sexes, when they are born with both sexes like that, and the parents make a conscious decision to whether they're going to let this child develop as a man or whether they're going to let this child develop as a woman, that child goes on a strict hormone diet. They have to take all of these hormones so that they develop the way that they're supposed to develop. One of these doctors literally got on there and said he would rather the child let the child develop first and let the child pick what they want to be, because you don't know how their body is going to form. You don't know because a child is too young to really determine how much estrogen and how much testosterone that they are having. You literally kind of have to let them get a little bit older so you can figure out how the body develops. And so it's numerous things that have been talked about, that the studies have been done. The problem is like, one, people don't read and people don't research. That's one of the big problems in society. People just go based off of what this person said, and however they identify and whatever they agree with, that's what they take. They don't do the research to say, well, damn, this is, this says this. People don't ask questions. People just go with, oh, because this person's a professional, this they said. Just because somebody's a professional doesn't mean that they're right. We have to get back to human nature as we know it. What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong.
I'm going to pull up another one. Y'all give me 1 second. I got to pull this one up. I know y'all remember this, the Young Buck thing.
I don't remember the Young Buck thing. You got to explain that one.
I remember a little bit. I remember the phone call was recorded when they called her. I guess she had posted something online with them too. Remember, and he was like, yeah, I'll give you like 1,800 2 bands to take it off the internet. And I seen something on Vlad where he talked about dating the transgender. So I don't think he was tricked. I think he knew and was embarrassed that it went online. My honest opinion. Because like you said, this is a celebrity. This dude has been with plenty of women. You know that, because these celebrities get a lot of sex from women. There's no way he didn't know. He just kept rolling with it. You know what I'm saying? Which, if that's what you want to do, fine. I'm not bashing you, but the way I look at it, if you're in a public eye like that, when you mess with people, they're going to expose you, because they're like, this is such and such. You're on a high level because you're a celebrity, and somebody's going to say something. Just like with men, these men and these side chicks start talking now and going on podcasts. Somebody's going to expose you. You know what I'm saying? Remember the one with Bobby Valentino? They caught him in a hotel room with a transgender. And I'll just be honest, like you said, they be on the down low. Let me get your take on that, Antoinette. Can you hear me, Antoinette? I think her mic went out. Hold on. Can't hear you. Let me read this comment. The LGBTQ society only make up a small percent of society. They only have the strength that they have because the elite top 1% is pushing that lifestyle to help decrease the world population. Real talk, the top 1% of rich hate the LGBTQ, but protects them to push their own selfish agenda. That's a good.
I agree. Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton were the two leading people that did that shit.
Can you hear me now, Antoinette? No, you might have to leave the chat room and come back in. But the thing is, with that whole agenda, I think that's something else we should talk about, since we're talking about trick or treat. Over the past 5, 6, 7 years, I've seen, I watch a lot of shows and documentaries, and I don't know what type of contracts they have with the LGBTQ community, but it's like, not every show you watch, except for sports, it's a lot of LGBTQ, representatives on the TV shows. And, the world's changing. I understand men are men and women are women, but it's usually mostly the men. It's not the women, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it does kind of seem like, no matter what type of show you watch, it has to be two men kissing, which at first, Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
At first, I'm like, I'm against this shit, but then I'm like, the world's changing. If that's what they want to do, fine. But it is kind of like they're pushing it. And I even heard, I've never seen it, that they had a show with two boys kissing. I'm like, that's just wrong. They kids.
It was on. They had two boys kissing on Empire.
Oh, it was Empire.
Yeah, it was Empire, and on that new one, that P Valley shit. They be having
I've heard
stuff like that on.
Nothing against the LGBTQ, but I heard a lot about the P Valley or whatever it's called, Pee Wee Valley. I can't watch it. Nothing against them, but it's just not for me, you know. But let me get your answer that, and then we go back to you, John.
Give my opinion about what?
This kind of like the LGBTQ community, like pushing their agendas like on cable and the internet to where like it's kind of forced for us to watch it. Like the only thing like it's not in is sports, and pretty soon, well, you got the transgenders now that want to play sports with, you know. So like, give me your take on how do you feel like they're pushing this agenda on us, and it's like they're force feeding us to watch it and accept it?
I mean, no, I just think it's just a way of life. I mean, it's going on, it's happening. I mean, it's just basically we see it even when I take my kids to school. I'm seeing, you know, girls with the girls, you know, walking to school and being in relationships. I mean, like it's just something that is going on in the world. I mean, you're either gay or straight. I mean, you know.
Or you could like men and women. Some people are bisexual.
Yeah, some people. Now I don't believe that you should be in a relationship with a woman and you know that you're being with a man and you're not being honest. Now I do not believe in that.
But there's no difference in doing that and then out here changing your body and tricking people.
How is it not?
That's the same thing.
No, it's not.
It is, because you out here, you with a woman at home, but when you over here, you with a dude, and then you go back and have sex. That's how them diseases really.
I mean, yeah, but I'm saying, but if everybody know and everybody is open with it, then that's something different.
That's it. That's different if they
know. A lot of people is being open. Like the way he's open with it. His child, he, you know, let that go on. You know, to me, I don't feel nothing's wrong with it. I would want my child to be happy.
But see, you're not a man either. Because look, the black women, you're already complaining about there's not enough of us going around. You're losing black men to violence, to the prison system, and now you're losing them and they want to be women. The next 30 years, think about how much y'all talk about there's no good men, black men. With all the men changing their sex, going to prison, dying in the streets, what do y'all think you're going to have in the next 20, 30 years? You're not going to have too many black men. Y'all should really think about that.
I'm thinking about it because
by the time you're in your 60s to 70s, how would you feel if your daughter came home with a transgender boy? Because that's what's going to happen.
I don't agree.
I mean, to me, I'm all about be happy and be happy.
It's easy to say that, but when you're 60 and you're trying to get married and like all the men to turn into women, then all the black men turned into women, then what you gonna do? The rest of them in jail, dead. What y'all gonna do then? Y'all complain now. What do you think it's gonna be like in 20 years? And that's a big point I wanted to make. Go ahead, Jonathan.
It's been forced way more on the black male community because what they're not doing is they're not showing a lot of gay white men. They're showing a whole lot of gay black men. Exactly. I don't agree with it because number one, it's a misrepresentation of black men. I don't agree with them showing studs and stuff like that because it's a misrepresentation of how a man should act. I don't care what stud it is. I don't care how long they trying to be a man. You are not a man, and you don't have the characteristics or the moral to be a man. You don't. It's not easy being a man, and I'm not saying that it's easy to being a gay person because you get different kind of scrutiny. I'm speaking as far as being a man. as a man, as a black man, there's certain things that I do not do. I do not hang around. If I think a man is feminine, we're not going to be boys. Like, we're going to be on a high and by, but I'm not kicking it with you because I feel like you're a beta male. You don't have that male strength.
That
And
dominance, the masculinity.
Yeah, I just feel that people should be able to do what they want to do, honestly.
As men, we can identify. Men are different. Like, men can sense a man. You know what I'm saying? When you are talking to a man, you can sense that man's aggression. You can sense that man's strength. You can feel it because as men, we know.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of times women are be like, oh, you always talking about niggas, you always talking about this. But I'm talking about it because I'm a 70s baby. I was raised in the 80s and 90s. I know what a man is supposed to walk like, talk like. I know that. I've been around the OGs. I've been around the old school cats. I've been around that. We're losing. It's a misrepresentation into the black community because this white society that we live in right now is representing the black man as a lower male. They're representing the black man as a beta male. They're not showing the strength of men. They're taking it away. We can even see it on these sexually transmitted disease commercials. They got all black men on there.
Yeah.
It's no white men on there. It's all black men on these sexual transmitted diseases. That PrEP, whatever that crap is, it's all black men on there. They ain't got no gay white men on there. They got all gay black men on there. They got gay black men on P-Valley. They got gay black men on Empire. They are misrepresenting and taking away from the black male strength. And so when you do stuff like that, that's another form of you separating our black society. And I have a problem with that. Like, show the white dudes that are gay.
Let me get Breezy's take on this because I know she got something to say about it. Go ahead.
What would make you think that, James?
I know you. You're very opinionated like I am. Go ahead. I know you. I know you ready to let it go. I know. Go ahead.
I'm listening and just like walking around, but I've had a lot of opinions on a lot of things that have been said. But just now where you said like there was a black man on P-Valley, there was a black man on Empire, like they're making it look like we're all black men. There was 1,000 straight men on Empire and one black gay couple. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's 1,000 heterosexual couples, but you're mad about the one homosexual couple. And I know because I did go through the thing where I was like, wow, we're seeing this everywhere. Like, are they pushing the agenda? I don't know if they're pushing the agenda, but if what you're saying is that the fact that they're doing this is dividing our community actually has gay men in it, gay black men in it. And it's not dividing it. The saying this is actually being more divisive. Like those people have mental illness. Those people they are confused. They are like, that's more divisive in our community instead of just actually going up to those people and starting to understand from their actual experience why they've made this decision or not.
Well, the thing is, I understand what you're saying, but you have to, this is the thing. When we say mental health issues, we always point out people that have mental health, but we don't point out to people if you want to cut off your body parts and change who you are, something is wrong.
Well, how come we don't say something's wrong?
Why is there something wrong with them?
Would something be wrong? Let me ask y'all this. Would something be wrong if I went outside right now, butt naked, to walk to the store, act like nothing to get a Gatorade? You'd be like, that fool, something wrong with that fool. He's crazy, right?
I wish we could live in a society where we do it.
You would say something.
I'll say that.
So why is it a problem when we say, hey, something's wrong with you when it comes to the transgender people cutting off body parts, tricking people for sex? You don't think that's...
It's only wrong because we're okay with it when women are doing it.
No, I'm not. I don't think women should change their sex to be a man and start tricking women. That's wrong. It's all wrong.
But nobody is using this as a mask reason as to why something's wrong or something's wrong with these women, because when it's Cardi B and she's made herself a multimillionaire, or these girls on OnlyFans or whatever, and you're like, well, I can respect it. Nobody is coming at all these women who are getting plastic surgery and saying they have mental illness. And I'm not saying they do, but I'm saying don't use it for transgender.
They don't have mental illness. they have confidence issues. It's a difference. Women that get their bodies done have confidence issues with their body. That's a totally different story. I did have a problem with Cardi B praising in her song that she drugged men and robbed them. I have a problem with that. But it's different of a woman enhancing her body to get attention rather than changing to another sex to trick somebody. It's two totally different things.
You don't think that is wild? Like if by what you're saying, if I think that I can get enough attention for me to be lovable, then I would cut my body, pieces of my body. If you don't think that's more wild than someone saying, I truly don't even feel like this is my body, I'm having an out-of-body experience and I don't feel right, you think that those, if you're trying to say one is mental illness, then you have to be saying the other one is too. And they have to be equal then.
It's a confidence issue.
But how did what you just say, how did what you just say make sense though? You just literally said like this person is feeling like this is not their body, they're having an outer body experience. How does that even sound like a rational person?
I'm not saying that it has to be rational, but it's reality. It's happening.
I said that generally, if I say something like that, that is pointing towards mental illness, and they generally put you on medication and send you to a mental institute when you say stuff like that. Like, well, I'm having an outer body experience. I'm hearing voices and shit like that. Like, that doesn't sound rational to me.
I would probably say that you probably made that point to the wrong one, because I study trauma. That's what we literally practice for, and we learn through that our body has those abilities to do that. So people who don't want to be in touch with the other levels might think that, but that's what we kind of actually go for.
I'm not saying that, you know, people don't have their own agenda on what they wanna be. And back to what you were saying about, you know, yeah, there were straight people on there as well. What I'm saying is that men and women are totally different. And you can see it between how the two men on here are talking and the two women here are talking, and y'all are so pro just be yourself. And as men, we are not wired in a way to really feel sensitivity like that to another man. We're like Mack trucks. We're built to last. When you come encounter with a feminine man and you are a masculine man, it's weird. It's weird to me. It's weird to me when I hear a man to say he don't watch football, he don't watch basketball, he don't play sports or nothing like that. That's weird to me. You know what I'm saying? Certain things for men are weird, and they're offset versus for women. It's easier for women to look at a gay man and say, hey, you know, this way, because y'all are nurturers. Men aren't. We're not. Y'all are. So it's easy for y'all to be like, oh, well, you know, this is how they feel and this is why they feel like that. It's easier for y'all to feel like that because y'all see the femininity. Men, straight, strong alpha men do not see that because we're not wired like that. I don't understand. Hey, but I can't understand a feminine man. There's no way that I can understand the femininity in a man. I can't. I don't get it. It's weird. I don't get it. I don't understand how you wake up.
They're not trying to call themselves men, though.
What, not say that again?
They're not trying to call themselves men, though.
But a gay man calls himself a man.
Well, but if he called himself a woman, you would have a problem with that.
Because I'm gonna look at you like you're a little punk bitch. Because that's what
this nigga crazy, man.
So what about beta men? You can't understand a feminine man, but what about beta men? Like, what's the difference?
Because a beta man, I don't really like to use the term beta man because because there's always an alpha. And that's why I tell people to watch lions. Like, lions are very intelligent and very intuitive with the masculine and the feminine. I can't really say that a man is a beta man, because if a man is more alpha than another man, he's going to look like he's the beta man in that situation, where another situation he might be the alpha. And there are women out there that are stronger than some men. And when we look at relationships, where I am weak, you are strong. In certain situations, a woman might be stronger than a man in that instinct. We got to look at it like that. We don't look at things like that. I can't consider a man to be a beta man. You're either a straight man or you're a gay man. To me, in the male society, there is no such thing as bisexual. If you have sex with a man, you're a gay man. I don't give a fuck. There's no flip flopping. You went out there and you banged a man, or you let him bang you. You're a gay man.
Hey, I think me and Jonathan related, man. He sound like a lot like me, Breezy. I think me and him might be cousins.
Hey, I'm not even about to get on.
I'm listening. I'm like, this dude, man. We got to be related or something. Go ahead, Breezy. Go ahead.
That's why I told Darius. I was like, I'm not even about to get on this podcast today. I already know. Take me somewhere else, and whoever else he bring on here just to take me somewhere else. Like I'm not.
But
no, I
this
like
is what it's
points.
This is what it's supposed to do.
I like.
No, you're right.
Breezy, you made some good points too, though. You made some really good points because men and women think different, and you guys both express your opinion. You both made, to me, good points on both sides. So, but what do you think about all this, Antoinette? Especially about this comment right here. What do y'all think about this last comment? Then we're gonna get out of here. I want to get it from Antoinette first.
Good point. That's why I don't watch that shit.
So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, honestly, I just feel like it's happening in the world.
Yeah.
I don't think like I don't feel that they're targeting the Black community. I think it's just something that's going on. I feel that we're more open with it versus other cultures. It's something that's going on in our community. It's something that they're doing, and they're continuing to do it. And it's just more out in the open when it comes to African American people. And I'm just all about just being free and loving yourself. Like, I'm not against it. I mean, I feel like a person should be able to do what makes them happy.
Got you. Understood. Okay, I appreciate that. We about to get out of here. This was a good show. Everybody had their own opinions when nobody argued, but that's what it is. You know, we just express our opinions. I ain't watched the show. I probably ain't gonna watch it, nothing against it, but I watched one of Tyler Perry shows. I forgot the name of it, but I was watching it, and it's a good show, but it's pretty much like a cult. And what they do, they recruit people, but then they drug them. And then the men that come in there, they have to have sex with the highness guy. They have to have sex with him to pretty much, you know, get to the next level. It was pretty interesting, and I didn't know that happened. So I learned something, even though I don't usually watch that type of stuff.
What is it called?
I have to send it to you because I forgot. But it's on, what was I watching? It was either on Amazon or BET Stars. It was one of them. But it's a really good show because they kidnap women. They kidnap men. They do all type of stuff to them. They drug them. They do all type of stuff. And then the people that live like in the town start noticing like their behavior. And every time the cops go up there, like they hide everything. It's a really good show. It's a Tyler Perry show. But I usually don't watch stuff like that. But I learned a lot from watching it. But like, you know, like he said, like the homophobic scenes. I'm not homophobic, but the gay scenes and stuff, I don't care for. But I like the show, you know. But it's a really good show, man. And I suggest everybody check it out. But
well, James, can I also point out
that
it wasn't that me and Antoinette are just women and we just support everything and we're nurture, so we're supporting and we're letting people be open. There are things about this whole movement that I do question and I do have my own ideologies about, but I just responded to the stuff that I thought was more like propaganda and male ego stuff instead of really understanding.
Right.
We'll throw that out there.
And I got to tell y'all this story because if y'all know me, I love everybody. I don't care if you're gay, straight. If you know me, I don't give a shit who you are, what you are. I'm gonna tell y'all. Look, I used to talk to this girl and her brother, you know, was gay. One of the best people I ever met in my life. You know, he had a full boyfriend. I used to go over to their house, kick it, drink with him, and I look at everybody as human. You know what I'm saying? You learn from different people, whether they gay, straight, or whatever. So for me, I'm open to having friends that you can be whoever you want to be to me, you know. But as far as I understand Jonathan's point is the agendas that gets pushed on TV with the black men always have to be the homosexual. I understand that because they are kind of pushing that, but also in the same sense, if that's who they want to be, live your life. That's the way I look at it. You know,
That's how I feel. I mean, live your life, be happy. Ain't no need to hide
I've never had none of
and
them.
run around in fear and be secretive. I mean, if you gay, you gay.
Just be yourself. But I think the problem is, Antoinette, like Jonathan was saying earlier, it's the down low men that have women, but when they leave their household, they with another man, and that's what's messing the thing up. I think,
Yeah, and that's wrong.
and I
That's
think,
wrong.
but you know what? Can I be honest? I ain't trying to be on here too long. I got to be honest because they about to really be mad. These niggas that be in and out of jail, 80% of them is gay, and they come home and they be hitting all the bras, and they be doing shit with niggas in there and coming home, and that's how these girls be getting all these diseases. You want me to be the real? They be getting all the girls pregnant, then they go right back to jail, mess with their boyfriend, and come back out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But that's partly due to like women making it okay. Like, a lot of women got to be more cautious in like the type of niggas that they date. Like, I'm just gonna throw this out there. I happened to, when I got out of the service, I happened to work in a prison before. I worked in a federal penitentiary.
Okay.
One of the things that I experienced in the federal penitentiary was there was a dude that's from here, from Columbus. He came through the federal penitentiary, and when I saw his paperwork, I tried to walk him through the system. Like, he had like 8 months left to do on Fed time. So I was kind of like walking him through the prison, like the do's and don'ts and stuff like that. And walking through there, I got him situated and stuff like that. And I went on vacation for 2 weeks. And so to give you the type of environment that I'm in, I was on a level 4 yard, and I was the only guard. When I was on duty, I was the only guard that I had 150 prisoners. So I was only in the tower, like, but I'm in charge of all of them. Like, I can buzz doors open, I can buzz doors closed. What happened for me was that I was walking the tier, and I was, checking to make sure all the doors were locked, making sure people were in their cells because it was my end of shift. I'm walking to look through this window, and the dude that was here from the city was getting the shit fucked out of me. Like, now there is a way that you could tell whether it's consensual or it's not consensual. Like, he wasn't being raped, he was enjoying it. And for me as a guard, I'm not going to report that, because you're just gonna find another way to do it. You know what I'm saying? If he was being raped, it'd be different, but he was enjoying it. And throughout the 2 years that I worked in the federal pen, I saw a lot of that. But the thing is that these dudes come home, and it's like a patch of honor, because they are, that nigga went to jail. He went to jail for some real nigga shit. But what people don't understand is, a man that's going to jail that came out and he was gay when he came out, and he told people he was gay when he came out, the majority of them say those cells are very intimate. You're in an 8-foot cell sharing it with another person. You doing your food in there, you doing your laundry in there, y'all sharing a cell together. A lot of times y'all on lockdown together. It gets intimate in those cells. So we have got to stop using people who go to jail as a badge of honor and start looking at the full Monty of the situation. People don't. That's why I keep saying, like, we have got to keep having these. We have to keep having these conversations, because you cannot teach common sense, and people don't look at the full story. They look at, oh, he went to jail for selling dope. Yeah, he went to jail for selling dope, but he was in a prison. He was in a max prison where he was locked down 23 hours out of the day, and he could only take 3 showers a week. So not only is he dirty and funky, but he in here with another man for 5 and 6 years. You don't think that they in there fucking, because you're not getting no other shit. And these dudes that go on here and make these little podcasts talking about how they was in jail fucking a prison guard, that's few and far between. And I don't be believing them, because I'll be looking at them like, bro, you was tampered with. Like, you know what I'm saying? You was tampered with. Like, you could tell a lot of them, like, you got fucked in jail, bro, or you was fucking in jail. You're either a pitcher or you're a catcher when you do. And you can ask any prison guard that'll tell you, if you do over 10 years, if you do over 2 years in the joint, whether it's federal or state, you're either pitching or you're catching. That's it. You fucking or sucking when you in the joint. You do over 2 years, and I'll say over 6 months because there's a lot of niggas get turned out earlier than that. So
Hey.
it's something that commonly happens, but these women, they use it as a badge of honor because the streets glorify this nigga for going to the joint, and now they figure they with a real man, and then they go back to jail, and then they go back to jail, and then they go back to jail, and then they go back to jail. There's something in that motherfucker that you like, bro.
Let me get Darius' thoughts on this because you know what, I'm gonna have to interview you because I didn't know you used to work in the prison. You didn't tell me that. So
Yeah, I did 7 years. I did 7 years in the Marine Corps. I got out of work for Homeland Security and the prison system.
okay, let me get Darius' take on it. I'm gonna have to interview you in a couple weeks. But let me-
Yeah, I agree. If you keep going back, it's for a reason. Like I personally, when I was in the streets and I got locked up, I did my little time, and it was like 2 months. That was enough for me. I changed my whole life, turned my shit around. Know what I'm saying? And I was in the streets heavy, and I still had access when I got free. I could do whatever. So, but just that 2 months of being around so many men and my freedom being taken away, and men telling me when to get up and when to go to bed, like you almost have to feminize yourself to accept that shit. The whole situation, rape aside, just to accept that situation and be willing to keep putting yourself there, you kind of gotta mentally lower your frequency as a male. And I just couldn't do that. So I was like, shit, I gotta figure out ways to where they can't hold nothing over my head or lock me up or take me in. Know what I'm saying? So it's just a state of mind they get into where they accepting of that shit, and they must like it. They must like being in there if they keep doing the shit that's fucking up. And like you said, it is a badge of honor too. So it got its perks, especially if you swinging that way and you got boyfriends in there and shit. So like you make your money up on the streets, fuck with a couple girls, and if you get locked up, you get locked back. It is what it is. Like, and I can't have that nonchalant attitude about no shit like that. It's just weird to me.
Let me get Antoinette's thoughts on this subject, and then we're gonna get out of here. She look like she ready to talk.
No, because I don't agree with that. Some people don't mind taking a penitentiary chance.
Okay.
You know, some people
Repeatedly?
some people have grew up in a lifestyle where sometimes they don't have as much growing up. So they can get out here. I've known people to get out of jail and then go right back to jail just by, accident, didn't mean to, just moving too fast, arguing with a female, caught them off guard, turned the wrong way, didn't have a license, got pulled over. You know what I'm saying? I just don't feel just because you go back and forth. It just depends on some people is willing to take a penitentiary chance and some people ain't.
Yeah.
Some people, that's all they know is to get out here and hustle. And then sometimes your luck don't be as good.
Mm-hmm.
I know plenty of people who have numbers and don't have any gay tendencies. It's just goes by what type of chance you want to take, especially when you from the streets. If you ain't from the streets, you don't understand that. That don't mean that you gay because you keep on going back and forth to jail trying to get with your girlfriend. It's just some people out here in the streets tougher than other people, and some people is going back and forth because of the stupid decisions that they coming out making. Because a nigga with some money don't want to come out broke.
And
especially if you have some money and you don't have a plan, you back out here in these streets.
But some
you going by what you know. That don't mean that you gay because you going up. Damn, I know a person who it happened to my kid's father. He had just got out of jail, turned around, had some pieces in his pocket, arguing with a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Forgot he had on these one jeans, had some dope in his pocket, arguing with somebody, and then end up going right back to jail. It just depends on your situation. Some people don't like to be broke, so they're not going to come out and get a 9 to 5. They're going to go where the money at because they used to live in a certain lifestyle.
It's your state of mind. That's
totally,
why I tried to bring the whole point to past the gay stuff. I said it's about your state of mind. Once you get in there, it's like you can either take them penitentiary chances, as you say, or you could take other chances and other risks. They state of mind is stuck in wanting to do low frequency stuff, period. So that's bad in itself. And to keep putting yourself in that position to where you're around all them men and doing like in servitude, because you're a servant and you're a slave once you get locked up. So that in general shows me that they mentality need to get corrected. It's that penitentiary chances shit. It's cool when for the first couple times, but if it's repeatedly, you got to correct it. You got to change something. You're not good at the street life. You ain't no street nigga.
So I want to add to that too, is by saying you have, this is the problem. This is why
Making
I'm
the block
disagreeing,
hot.
because you know we know right and wrong, regardless of the situation. You know right and wrong. You know what you can go to jail for. You know what you can't go to jail for. And on the
Exactly.
law enforcement side, I'm going to tell you like this: going to prison is one of the most demasculating things that you
Man.
can do to somebody. Because I have control over your whole fucking life. I have control over when you come out of that damn room. I got
Yep.
control over when you eat. I got control over when you sleep. I got control over when you take a shower. I got control over when you go to the commissary. It is the most demasculating thing that you can do. I can lock you in your cell for 23 hours out of the day legally. I could put you in solitary confinement whenever I want to. It is very demasculating. It's also demasculating because I can control who you talk to. I can control your yard time. I could put you out on the yard when all the white boys and the rednecks is out on the yard. I can control all of this stuff. I'm speaking as somebody that I worked in the super federal max prison. These motherfuckers that go out here that repeatedly do this shit, they know one, what prison or what jail they are going to. They already have people in those jails, because a lot of people, what happens is you have cases, and when you have cases like that, you're stuck in that same jail because you're fighting that same case. So when you get out of jail, you're going right back to that same jail with the same people that you know. And it becomes a problem when it's habitual like that, like, oh, I ain't know, I forgot. Nah, nigga, you're lying. You knew exactly what you had on you, because when you got crack and dope on you, and listen, I'm from the hood. I'm from EC. I grew up in East Cleveland off of Superior, Melbourne. I am a project
I'm
baby.
from the
I'm a
jungle.
hood nigga.
That shit Denzel was at in Training Day, that's where I got raised at.
So
James, no.
at the end of the day, these niggas know what they getting into. Prison is not something that somebody just goes to like, oh yeah, I'm tough. It ain't shit tough about going to prison. It is the most demasculating
Weak.
thing that you can
It's
ever
weak-minded.
do to somebody. It is
And
so
mistakes happen.
demasculating.
Mistakes do happen, and you do get in situations to where you with your baby mama or something. But you got to be a man in that situation and be like, shit, if I take it too far, I could go to jail.
Yeah,
I could be
I just
taken
feel,
away from my
I feel
babies.
shit happen. Everybody who just keep on going back and forth don't mean. I mean, everybody is raised different. Some
Yeah.
people may go back because that's just all they know. They've been in and out of jail all their life.
Which
They
is
don't
fucked
mind
up.
going back.
Damn.
But what you
I
get from
But
going
mean,
to
jail
jail,
don't reform nobody either. So
it doesn't.
it go both
It
ways.
doesn't.
Like when they get locked up, they should be getting reformed. But as a man, you know, like, all right, this shit ain't right. Somebody telling me when and where to go, and me being around just all men all the time, this shit just shouldn't sit right with my
they
soul.
set our black men up anyway when they get out of prison anyway.
Yeah, with
They give them
probation
a
and all
hard
that.
time on, you know, how to, like, a woman can come from jail, be able to get housing, all type of different things. I mean, they just set I feel our system is messed up. They set our men up. They
Yeah.
come out, they come on papers.
Yep.
Don't nobody want to hire them. Then you wait a minute, try to, say, hey, I'm gonna try 2 weeks to try to find a job. Then nobody wants to hire you.
It's
I
hard.
mean, it's just it's a mess. I mean, they come out and they don't have a plan for these young men. They just put them out on the streets, and then it's like, what else am I supposed to do? I can only get it how I live. Like, this
But
is
it's
what I know.
and
That's built off of slavery, though. We are still living in a slavery state. Think about it, man. The man was always the most. There's something that y'all should probably look up, because there's a lot of people that don't know what this is. But one of the most demasculating things that they did to black men as slaves was called bucking.
Yep.
And if you don't know what bucking
Buck
is,
breaking.
what they used to do was they take the strongest black man when the new slaves come in. They take the biggest, strongest black man and they tie him to a tree where he's face down, ass up, and the overseers and the masters take turn raping him, and they tell the men and the women, like, you see this big strong nigga right here, and you see what we did to him, this can happen to you too, because you ain't as strong and you ain't as powerful as this man. So when you break down a black man like that, you lock him in jail, you tell him what he can do, what he can't do, and then you kick him out here on the streets, and you don't give him anything. You've given him a repetitive cycle to go back to jail. Where as far as a woman, she's feminine. You know, white men want black women. You know what I'm saying? Master used to rape the women all the time. You know what I'm saying? This is part of slavery. And this is why I say all the time, this is why it's important for us to have these conversations. It's important for us to say, fuck the system, and get your opinion out there and get your knowledge out there, because there's a lot of people that don't know the things that have happened to us and the things that are continuing to happen to us. They don't know because they don't take their time to research it. They don't go out there and do visits and recognize real life. They only see their life. They don't see what's going on to other people.
Yeah.
That's why these things are so important.
It's important. And like, as somebody who been on the other path, I got 2 felonies, right? So I've literally went through every step both of y'all talking about as far as having to go through the system. And Antoinette, is when I got out, everything you said, that shit was happening to me. I couldn't get a job. No, I applied to every fast food, and I was probably overqualified because I got a associate's degree. You know what I'm saying? So the thing with having to figure all that out is just the mentality and the state of mind that man has to get himself into. And like, maybe it might be the environment or conditioning, but majority of us are being demasculized, and it makes us weak-minded, I think. And that's why we fall victim to the streets and we take the easy way out, because that's the easy way out. It's easy to get somebody to front you something, especially nowadays. You know what I'm saying? You can get fronted something and you roll the dice. But niggas not hustlers. They don't know how to hustle. Niggas not trappers. Like, every nigga don't need to be a street nigga. That's what the problem.
All right, y'all, we about to get out of here. Y'all stay on after I end the live. Leave a comment, share this. This was a very powerful and good video, even though we got a little off subject. But that happens sometimes, man, when the conversation was good. That's why I like podcasting with y'all, because we share the knowledge. It might be somebody watching this that could have been on the wrong path and listen to what you guys said. You never know who's watching.
You never know.
So everybody,
this is what it's about, helping our community understand, because a lot of people don't understand what's going on in the world. They want to be blinded by it, or they don't want to come out and say what's going on.
And they're scared because they feel like if I speak out, I'm going to get shut down. But hey, we all got a voice. You got to use your voice. Y'all stay on. I'm in this live. Everybody watching this live, Hit Show Podcast, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter. We on all social media platforms. Okay, you want to support the show? The ticker at the bottom. Hit the Cash App. Hit Show Podcast, LLC. Money sign in front of the Hit Show. All right, we're going to see y'all next week. Antoinette B, tell them what they got coming this week.
Okay, so this week I'm going to have to, it's usually on a Wednesday, but I'm not able to do a Wednesday, so I'm going to be speaking out to the person who's going to be on the show. Matter of fact, it's going to be Larry. He's coming back on the show with me, and we're going to be talking about what's going on out there in the community. So this would be perfect. You know, we're going to reach out and talk about what's going on in our communities that people don't want to talk about.
Okay, and you know what? T-Baby be good for that because she's big on the community. Hopefully we can get her on that one. And I will try. I probably won't be on that one because I got some stuff to do. But we're going to keep you guys informed about the Antoinette B takeover because she does her show on the Hit Show once a week. All right. So y'all hit the Cash Apps, follow us, subscribe, share all